Welcome to Western Wisconsin Journal. I'm Kaitlyn Doolittle. Sitting with me today is Jodi Utech of Fresh Express Community Outreach to talk all about their work throughout the Western Wisconsin region. Thank you so much for being with me today, Jodi. Yeah, for starters, can you just tell me about your background and your history with Fresh Express Community Outreach and the work that you do with them?
Absolutely. Fresh Express Community Outreach started as an outreach from the church I attend, Cornerstone Church in Hudson, Wisconsin. And as a member of the church, I became involved from its genesis. The outreach organization started actually from a situation where we had a child come to Sunday school, and there was breakfast food provided in the Sunday school, and that child let me know, because I was substituting that day in Sunday school. They asked if they could have extra food because they didn't have any food at home. And so I shared that with our pastor at the time, and from that there was an initial micro market that started, which was Fresh Start. And we put we put snacks out, healthy snacks, bananas, apples, oranges, grapes, for kids who were on their way to school, and coffee for the parents. And it was a real small micro opportunity to just make something available, and from there things really blossomed. So we'll talk more about that, but I became involved because of my connection with the church, and from there we started an official nonprofit as an extension of that.
Yeah, what year was that? What year did
that was back in 2018.
2018? Okay.
2018, Fresh Start launched.
Okay, yeah, that's awesome. Can you tell me more about its mission, its bigger needs, and like why are community outreach organizations needed like throughout this region?
Yes, absolutely. Well, I'll give you our mission, and I'm going to refer to this because there's an extended portion of it. So our overarching mission is to create a sense of worth and value for each individual that we serve. We are not just providing food and clothing to our community, we're providing our neighbors with an opportunity to find hope, receive encouragement, and encounter God through compassion. And that need in the community is wide-reaching. We have individuals who attend our mobile markets because transportation is an issue to get groceries. Money for gas is an issue, and then funding for food. And then from a clothing perspective, it's important to the community because many times there are parents, single parents. I was a single mother. I raised 2 kids. The expenses for caring for your children are oftentimes a priority. And so for a parent to be able to have additional funds to get something nice or new or something for a special event to wear for themselves is often has to be forgotten. And so the mobile clothing provides an opportunity to meet basic needs, to give folks an opportunity to just go find something new, and for parents to be able to get something for themselves. And our clothing, what I want to say is that our clothing and our food, we drive to zero waste. And so as we receive food rescue donations or receive clothing donations, we're making sure that all of it gets used. And whatever might be left in terms of food that goes bad, doesn't get taken in time, or sometimes the shelf life on things is really short. We set that aside for people to take for critters, and then the clothing that we're not able to use actually gets sent over to a different nonprofit that makes sure that they get distributed to people who are in need.
Yeah, I love that. And how can people donate, or like how can people kind of take part in this themselves when they see this work being done?
Yes, absolutely. So from the clothing receipt of clothing donations, we ask that folks please take a look at our Facebook page. We will post information on what we're in need of. For example, right now we're receiving coats. We drive to organize winter items and summer items and seasonalize. So there is a fall theme, holiday Christmas theme. New Year's is typically exercise clothing.
Those New Year's resolutions, yeah.
Prom. So if you have prom dresses, sometimes we get wedding dresses and things like that. And so, the young men can go onto the men's bus and look for suits and those things. And so the organizers, they'll assort things by that seasonalized. You need to make sure when you're donating to any nonprofit that they have the capacity to receive, that they have the space and the resources to be able to sort the items when it's that kind of thing. So we ask that you look and check with us if you've got an abundance of things to make sure that it's something that we can work with at the time. So check our Facebook page, and then donations can be dropped off at our events or when the church facility is open. With regard to food, it's primarily volunteers. And with the Fresh Express Community Outreach, we've got well over 70 regular volunteers who are helping us with various aspects of that.
Yeah, I love that. And oftentimes when there's events where they're, donate or giving away like free resources, whether it's like clothing or food, there can be some misconceptions or, people are hesitant to take part in this. So have you ever faced that type of reaction, and how do you respond to that?
Yes. So I'll start with the food. So there can be a stigma associated with receiving free food, and that we don't ask for names, and we have a food rescue. So there's two parts of it. We have items that we are making sure that basic needs are met for individuals. The shelf-stable items, if you come to our pantry, you'll see that there are a lot of items that we purchase. Flour, sugar, oil, canned goods, those things. We're purchasing those basic needs that folks can have. The perishable items that we receive are food rescue that we get from various donators. If it's food rescue and we've got an abundance, please come and take it because it's good to be responsible and make sure that food gets used. I've seen that. Have you seen that ad on the back of the bus with the egg and it says "best if used"?
Oh yeah, right.
Right. So we don't want anything to go to waste, and so we say, come on, take a loaf of bread. Don't feel apprehensive. We want to make sure that it goes to good use. And then the other thing with regard to stigma is that food insecurity is no respecter of person. I can share personally that I've worked at a major corporation for my entire career. I have a college degree and I have a very good job. And there was a season in my life when I went through a divorce. And, financial ruin, financial stress can happen when you're not expecting it. It could be a medical situation or loss of a job, or you don't know what it is. And what I share with folks is that during that time that I went through, there were seasons where I needed to decide if I was going to put gas in my car or pay my electric bill. And the Lord helped me through it. It was all fine. And I understand that sometimes folks will show up and they have a really nice car or they have very nice clothes. And when I went through that situation, I was driving the same vehicle that I had. I was wearing the same suits that I always had. And having some extra help was something that, is beneficial to folks. It's food insecurity, as I said, is no respecter of person, and you're welcome to come. We don't care why. We just like to see you.
Yeah, right. Or they feel like, oh, I'm taking away from somebody else who needs it, but it's like, if you're hungry, then you need it, or if you're in need of clothing, then...
And if we have an abundance, and we always have an abundance of clothing, so come and find something new. Take it, give it. We have some partners that we actually get new boutiques that we get clothing from with the tags on, and they're very nice.
Yeah, I love that. Yeah, and kind of returning focus to like the clothing itself and the bus. I've been on it. It's really cool. It's really nice, and you'd have like a really luxurious experience. I think it's just so awesome. Can you just tell me about the logistics of operating these buses? Like, who's on your team? How do you handle these distributions? How do you collect these items and so forth?
Yeah, absolutely. one of the things that you had inquired about is who's involved. So on our board of directors, we have various talents. We have somebody who is experienced in business administration. We have somebody experienced in economics, an attorney, and a licensed food service professional. And so those, that diversity and thought that we have helps us as we organize these events and plan for what's going to happen throughout the year. We have our general manager is in charge of logistics, and that is a heavy lift, organizing where we're picking up items and managing all the food pickup and distribution to our storage location and so forth. So if we think about, I'll give you the example of how we organize for an event. With the mobile markets, we have the clothing boutique and the food bus that we have. We'll meet starting between 7:30 at our warehouse and start to prepare and load the buses for the event that's happening. And that's, we've got about 5 volunteers who will come, and we load and organize it like a grocery store. The clothing bus is typically set up, into the week before, and then we head out for 3 stops. We do a half an hour at each stop, and we're going into various communities in the Hudson area. And so as individuals come on the bus, all we do is count the number of visits that we have, and it's a really great opportunity to make connections and build relationships. And we take prayer requests if folks have those, and bring those back to our church community, and we pray for those. So then at the end of the day, after the 3rd stop, and likely visiting with more than 100 people throughout the day, we will head back to the warehouse and unload the shelf-stable items and get the buses gassed up and ready for our next outing.
Yeah, I love that. A lot of work, definitely. Yeah. And that's usually like during the week or the weekend?
The mobile buses go out on the 2nd and 4th Saturday of the month, and you'll want to watch our Facebook pages for those specific events and locations. We also have a storefront in our church entry, in the vestibule, in the entryway of the church, and that is Sunday through Friday from 9 to 11. And so folks can stop by anytime, Sunday through Friday from 9 to 11 and receive things that they need.
Yeah. Or is there like a time of year where it's like you experience like the most amount of visitors? Like what's your average count that you receive like on a distribution day?
That's a good question. Yeah. I wouldn't say that we really have a peak season. We are serving about 2,300 visits. We're receiving about 2,300 visits for food every month.
Yeah, I love that. And how has this, the work that you've done, grown since its conception, and where do you see the future of Fresh Express Community Outreach?
As I mentioned, it started as a fresh start little cart in front of the church, and that was wildly successful. And then it grew to the mobile food bus from there. And then that was in 2020. So from 2018 to 2020, we went from a little wooden cart to a mobile bus. And then in 2021, the clothing boutique was added on. And so it's grown substantially, grown to, I think I said, over 70 volunteers that we have working with us every month. And I see it growing in connections with people in the community and continuing to meet those needs, considering both providing a sense of value and worth and nourishment and clothing.
Yeah. Do you have any personal goals that you want to achieve, like maybe within 2025, or anything you want to see this this organization achieve, like within a year time, or what goals do you have for yourself?
That's tremendous. Yeah. So as a president of the board of directors, my goal is to uplift organizing the strategy that the team has for the year. And we'll be refining some of our focus on how we organize volunteers and making connections with the community, and continuing to support a great organization that can be sustained for the long term.
And is there anything that you find particularly rewarding with the work that you do? Anything like you're really proud of being as the president of the board of directors?
Absolutely. this entire, the Fresh Express Community Outreach nonprofit and being involved in the capacity that I'm involved in allows me to live out my faith in every aspect of my life. Mm-hmm. And that's what gives me joy.
Gets you out of bed in the morning. Yeah.
That's it.
I love that. Yeah, is there anything else that we haven't talked about that you want to go into, or anything you want to highlight with your work here?
Let's see, I would like to just highlight that everybody is welcome. Mm-hmm. And we look forward to seeing the people who come to visit us to receive food and clothing, and know that you're welcome anytime, and to spend time and visit with us and get to know us better.
Yeah, I love that. Well, thank you so much for your time. I really appreciate it. Yeah. From Western Wisconsin Journal, I'm Kaitlyn Doolittle.